Live from a snowy Lynchburg, Virginia, you're watching men's college lacrosse on LHSN as the number 7 Lynchburg Hornets play host to St. Mary's, looking to improve to a 6-0 mark and take down the Hornets for the first time since 1998. Thank you, everybody, for spending some time with us on your Saturday afternoon. TJ Wingard here with you, take you through all the action. Lynchburg looking to avenge a loss last Saturday at the hands of the Salisbury Seagulls, 15-6 out at Salisbury. Meanwhile, St. Mary's out to the best start in program history under 7th-year head coach Jason Child. To talk about him in just a moment. Here are some of the stats and figures coming into today's contest. And one thing that's going to be noteworthy today, that face-off percentage. Two teams neck and neck in that department. Whoever wins those face-off battles and controls possession obviously has a leg up on the other throughout today's contest. A lot of players to talk about and a lot of talent for both sides. Starting with St. Mary's, the conversation has to start and end with Jude Brown. Preseason All-American honorable mention for Inside Lacrosse. Reigning Conference Offensive Player of the Week, was also named to the U.S. ILA Team of the Week. So obviously out to a hot start this season. And on the other side, Dylan Wolf. Last time we saw him at home, that was against number 8 Cobraney. 4 goals, 2 assists. He picked up another goal at Salisbury. But Dylan Wolf, certainly a player that's poised and capable, breaking out, putting up a lot of points up on the board. And for the keepers, between the posts, it's Curl Prius. 6th start of the season, 41 saves, and a save percentage north of 60%. A really nice mark. And 38 minutes of action against Shenandoah, no goals allowed. You'll take that any day of the week if you're a Coach Childs or a Seahawks fan. And for Lynchburg, Patrick Moore, preseason All-American as well for USILA. Had 15 saves against Salisbury, but also surrendered a season most 15 goals at the hands of the Seagulls. That will be the number we keep our eyes on today. With the national anthem upon us, we'll step aside and come back with more. Getting you set for everything you need to know between Lynchburg and St. Mary's on LHSN.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities, learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the Athletic Training Laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic and Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps us win.
Welcome back to Lynchburg, Virginia. It's a cold spring Saturday afternoon. We've given you players to watch and the keepers for both sides. Now let's talk about each team's respective coach, starting with St. Mary's, 7th year for Coach Jason Childs, 33-56 overall record. But how about the 5-0 start the Seahawks are off to? The best mark that he's had to open up a season, and Coach Childs has coached at legitimately every level in the lacrosse ranks, D1 all the way down to NAIA, so somebody with plenty of experience under his belt. And the same could be said about 26th year head coach Steve Kudelka. 308 wins during his tenure with the Hornets, coming off an Elite 8 appearance last season. Looking to have Lynchburg stay unbeaten at home this afternoon. Now we'll show you the starting lineups for both squads, and as the names pop up on the screen, I want to highlight a few other players that maybe not be the players to watch, but certainly noteworthy in and of themselselves. Ethan Little, talked about players being named to conference accolades. Little just named United East Defensive Player of the Week, also named to the U.S. ILA Team of the Week, as was Jude Brown, our player to watch for the Seahawks. And for Lynchburg, let's give a shout-out to a couple more defensive players. Little does a whole lot on the back end, also has 4 goals, 3 assists. But Henry Merendon, Chris Darminio, Marshall Rodegas, Dom Zingo, they will have their hands full trying to slow down the likes of a Jude Brown with 19 goals and 9 assists already this season. And you're coming off a showing last week at Salisbury where Hornets defense was certainly tested, to say the least. We talked about Patrick Moore, season best 15 saves, but also a season most 15 goals allowed. Can the Lynchburg defense alleviate some of the pressure in the face of Patrick Moore? That is one of the big X factors coming into today's contest. As they introduce the starting lineups on Schellenberger Field, let's talk about the all-time series history. It's the 11th all-time meeting between these two squads. The first 3 meetings, all with the favor of St. Mary's, those coming between 1996 and 1998. Then Lynchburg has won the next 7, including last year's meeting 20-9. Previous meeting before last season was in 2013, and the last meeting before that was 2005. So a lot of the games played in the series history between these two squads coming in the late 90s into the 2000s. Now, a renewed rivalry, and talking with head coach Steve Kadelka during the week, he noted he wanted to have St. Mary's back on the schedule because they saw him last year and saw what this program was building towards, and the 5-0 record certainly backs up what Coach Kadelka saw with the Seahawks. Going to be a fun battle between these two squads. Lynchburg, top 7 team in the country, so a lot of implications there, not only in this game and for Lynchburg in and of themselves, but also the national view and rankings across the country. So a lot to watch for today. And St. Mary's, a team that Coach Kadelka noted, should be knocking on the door as a team to be receiving top 25 votes and being in the top 25. And a win against Lynchburg would certainly boost their resume. Players out onto the turf now. We're a minute or so away from getting underway. St. Mary's in their first year, United East Conference. Meanwhile, Lynchburg picked to win the ODAC, one of the best conferences inside Division III landscape.
And the Director of Operations is Jack Rokenthal.
And we talked about the snow flurries at the top of the broadcast. It's a little bit of a chillier Saturday afternoon. But the wind blowing towards the left side of the field. Snow flurries are projected to come to a halt in about an hour or two. And it was right around 38 degrees when both teams took the field. At midfield, Michael Kraus for Lynchburg and Mitch Boudreau for St. Mary's. Boudreau, 35 of 73 on faceoffs. Michael Kraus, 45 of 73. Talks about it in the open with the stats. These faceoffs will be huge. Kraus wins the opening faceoff, picks up the ground ball, and Lynchburg will get to work on the offensive side. Fresh off winning the faceoff, A.J. Neves checks in. He controls, passes it forward for Jake Rust. 6 goals and an assist so far this season for Rust. Now with Riley Mitchell. He had a big day against Cabrini. About 3 goals and an assist for Mitchell against the Cavaliers. Mitchell has some space, throws it back behind the net. Pass off the mark. Kyle Lewis, unsure of who he was looking the direction for, maybe Ryan Kenny, but pass goes towards the near sideline. Lynchburg forced to reset. Dylan Wolf, no space as he tracks to his left. Our Lynchburg player to watch. Rust short hops the pass to Kenny, shoots and buries it. Nice job for Ryan Kenny receiving that short hop pass. And it does the rest with a flick of the wrist. Lynchburg strikes first and leads 1-0. Goal number 15 of the season for Ryan Kenny. Senior from Massachusetts continues to light it up on the offensive side. Rust will get the assist. And they elevate it up and over the shoulders of Curl Prius. Face-off number 2, won by Boudreau. He also picks up the ground ball, and now we'll see St. Mary's try to respond. Seahawks offense averaging just under 16 goals per contest and north of 53 shots per game. So despite the conditions, we might be in for an offensive heavyweight showdown between these two squads. Cal Wilcox controls on the near side, defended by Peter Robinson. Now back behind the net. This is the player to watch, Jude Brown. 19 goals and 9 assists. The preseason All-American honorable mention. It's Dom Zingo with the task of trying to slow him down. Jude dishes it over to Aiden Doyle. The freshman ties it up 1-1. Tenth assist of the season for Brown. Goal number 10 for Doyle, who's been scorching hot over the last 3 games for St. Mary's. There's the dish and the finish one more time. Nice find from Brown. Doyle, 10 goals, all in the last 3+ games. From the face-off, Seahawks awarded possession. Johnny McGrain controls just in front of midfield. Talking more about Doyle. Today marks 3 consecutive starts, his 6th game played. As I said, all 10 of his goals in the year come either today or in the 3 games preceding. Now up to 14 points on the year on 37 shots. Wilcox makes it 2-1 St. Mary's. A missile from Cal Wilcox. Goes cross-body and beats Patrick Moore. Seahawks out in front for the first time today. A little less than 13 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Scoring for St. Mary's, number 3, Cal Wilcox.
And that is just an absolute wonderful finish there from Wilcox. A lot of times you'll see shots try to go up and over the shoulders and you're trying to work to the near side post wherever your body weight is taking you and your momentum carrying you. That time Wilcox goes across the body of Moore and brings us to the 2-1 score we're at now. Just in front of midfield, Grant Voigt patrols back as Robert Kirkland. Now Lynchburg looking for the equalizer. Just rendering back-to-back goals to the Seahawks. Voigt over to Griffin Cooling. Now with Rust. Lynchburg works it around. Nobody behind the net. Now Kyle Lewis and Jake Rust stand behind Prius. Pass intended for Lewis. Couldn't handle it initially, then picks it up. Close defender is Cole Harden, junior from Bel Air, Maryland. Fake spin from Lewis. Picked up by a second defender. That's Brock Daniel. 25 seconds on the shot clock. Nice deke from Lewis. Might have had Voigt instead. Kirkland feeds Cooling, whose shot is wide right. Lynchburg with 15 seconds still to work with. Rust over his shoulder, sneaks it. Through on the near side post. We're tied up 2-2. And sometimes late in the shot clock, you just have your standout players make standout type of plays, and that is certainly we just saw from Rust. To the shot clock over his shoulder, not a lot to work with. Had a step on his defender, and Prius didn't see the shot coming from point-blank range. 2-2. Kraus and Boudreau once more. Ground ball picked up by Darminio, his 18th of the season, and the Hornets can get back to work on the offensive side. Riley Mitchell on, as is Quentin Hatfield. Primarily man-to-man so far for St. Mary's. Patrick Moore tracks up the field, finds Wolf, couldn't handle the pass. Otherwise, there was a seam for Wolf to work with. Kenny picks up the errant pass. As the flurries slow down a bit, Lynchburg with a chance to retake the lead. Hornets 2-0 at home so far this season. Wins over Greensboro as well as Cabrini. 26-2 taking down Greensboro and a 15-9 win against the then number 8 Cavaliers. Mitchell over to Riley Schmidt. Wolf works it around the clock. Now it's back to Kyle Lewis. Lewis defended by Brown. Backs it out. Now it's with Mitchell. Mitchell marked up by Jacob Hendricks. Shot clock down to 10. Wolf, wrap around, shot wide. Across the right baseline. Only 5 seconds for Lynchburg to work with. A missile sent right to Prius. Shot comes from Schmidt. Prius there to make the stop. Ricochets all the way back out to midfield. Lynchburg gets it back. And we'll get back to work. So in talking to Coach Stephen Kudelka during the week, getting some of his thoughts at Salisbury and some of the consensus that I gathered from players that were making the trip back. Shot, score, we'll finish that point in a moment. Kyle Lewis, his 8th on the season. Lynchburg back out in front 3-2. Take another look at the first score of the day for Kyle Lewis.
Number 7, Kyle Lewis.
Dylan Wolf will get the assist. This shot comes early in the shot clock. We've seen Lynchburg be very patient, to start on the offensive side. There, Lewis wastes no time. Hornets ahead 3-2. Boudreaux, Kraus. Kraus wins the faceoff, picks up the ground ball, moves into the attacking third, takes the shot. Prius snares it. Now St. Mary's with a chance to respond. Give it go between Brendan Connolly and Prius. Midfield, Ethan Little has it poked away. Race the loose ball. Picked up by Lynchburg. In specific, might have been number 37, Darren Palma. Nothing doing for Lynchburg on the offensive side. Continue that point I was mentioning earlier. Coach Kudelka and a lot of players, the consensus that Hornets just didn't put their best foot forward against the Seagulls. That was a team they could compete with, and ultimately it just wasn't their cleanest brand of lacrosse. These are the things they had to work on, and you can kind of feel that energy throughout Turner and really throughout campus. After Saturday, Lynchburg knew this was a big game, got to bounce back. This is a game where you have to put your best foot forward and make sure you don't suffer consecutive losses, especially when playing in front of the eyes of national landscape, number 7 team in the country. Not much room for error. Moore takes it himself across midfield over to Ross, now Lewis. Kenny opened up today's scoring. He'll backpedal. He waits for Cooling to check back in. Cooling with it now. Over to Voigt. Cooling works towards the center of the turf. Wanted Robert Kirkland. Couldn't handle the pass. Lynchburg, a team that's been able to avoid turnovers on large scale. Just 75, make it 76 on the season now through 4+ games. On the other side, St. Mary's through 5+ games, 81 turnovers so far this season. Doyle sends it back to Hatfield. Freshman from Bel Air, Maryland. 1 goal, 1 assist so far this year. Now it's with Wilcox. Gathered his 2nd score on the season. Whistle blown. It goes against St. Mary's. A little more than 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. Lynchburg wastes no time. Has the shot go off the post and roll across the far sideline. Both teams trying to pick up the tempo. Nothing to show for it in the past couple minutes of game time. Another possession that comes to an early close for the Seahawks. Kenny sends it back out to A.J. Neves. And St. Mary's set defensively. Neves finds a cutter Mitchell. Shot! Finds home. First of the day for Riley Mitchell. Lynchburg doubles up their lead, now ahead 4-2. Nice find, Mitchell. Got past his defender, Marcus Coleman.
Mitchell, assist to number 6, AJ.
Found the opening against Prius and doubled up the lead for Lynchburg. It's going to be Michael Kraus at midfield for the faceoff, but a new face for St. Mary's. Samuel Jowden, senior from Maryland. 32 of 48 on faceoffs this season. Jowden wins the faceoff, picks up the ground ball, flings it forward for Ethan Little. Named to the U.S. ILA Team of the Week. Lots of contact. Little lost control. Picked up by Cole Nestor. Nestor had a beautiful sequence against Cabrini, created the turnover, picked up his own ground ball, picked up the score on the offensive side. Kenny might have gone off the stick of Prius, but ultimately misses up and over the top post. It'll be Jake Rust to start up the possession once more. Full minute for Lynchburg to work with. Early returns when it comes to shots category. Lynchburg with a strong lead there, 9-2. Kenny, 10th shot of the day for Lynchburg, makes it the 5th goal of the day for the Hornets. 16th score of the season for Kenny, second on the afternoon. Lynchburg out in front, 5-2. 6:02 to play in the first quarter. Timeout called by Coach Childs. Kenny does a nice job, just like he did on his first score, going down low to gather the pass. On his first goal, it was ball he had to scoop up as it short hopped across the turf. This time, just downstairs. Kenny reaches out, controls the pass, and takes care of the rest. 5-2, Lynchburg out in front, and now Coach Childs, a chance to talk it over his team. We'll give you his resume. 7 years he's been with St. Mary's. Prior to that, took Shorter University from the NAIA level to the Division II ranks, went 21-21 over 3 seasons. Also worked at Division I level with Mercer, and that was to start the first ever Division I lacrosse program in the state of Georgia. That was back in 2009. Also helped Presbyterian take that program from Division II to D1 rank. Blue Hose, though, 6-42 during the 4 seasons Child was in Presbyterian. Also been an assistant coach at Limestone College, and once upon a time a player at Dickinson with the Red Devils. So you name it, Jason Childs has been at that level of the men's lacrosse landscape. Now his team trailing by 3, come out of the timeout. Jowden, opposite of Kraus. And the early returns on the faceoffs, 4-1 by Lynchburg. 3 wins for St. Mary's. Kraus wins the face-off, picked up by Darminio. Into the attacking third, R.J. Barnes. Works it back. Has Kyle Lewis. Picked up by a pair of defenders. Lewis loses control. Tussles with Mason Hoffman for the loose ball. Jarred away towards the end line. Gathered by Brendan Connolly. Sophomore made his 6th start of the season today. Pass intended for Brock Daniel. Over his head. Picked up by Voigt for Lynchburg. And really, when you look at the clears, that's been one of the areas of difference so far. Lynchburg 3 for 4 on clear chances. St. Mary's 2 for 5. And that's a high-octane Hornets offense. You cannot afford to give Lynchburg more than one chance against Carl Prius between the posts. 5 minutes and counting in quarter number 1. Voigt over to Cooling. Voigt then sets the screen. Cooling gives way to Jake Rust. Pass intended for Voigt. Couldn't handle it. Long stick mid. Cole Harden tries to jar it loose. Cooling will wrap it around, send it back behind the net. Kenny, 2 scores so far today. Out to Kirkland. Kirkland defended by Hatfield. Pass goes to Lewis. Might have been intended as a shot. Ultimately, it comes out of the stick and rolls across the far sideline. Looked like Lewis was trying to replicate his 8th goal of the season, which he scored earlier today. Spin right for Lewis. Sends it to Voigt with some space. Shot. Sails up and over the top post. 9 seconds left on the shot clock. Back with Rust. Defended by Daniel. Kenny has the shot deflected. And shot clock hits 0. Nothing doing for the Hornets. Getting across midfield. Hatfield. Marked up by number 28, Dylan Schuster. Sent back to midfield. Rust ahead for Kenny. One more pass. Lewis has his shot denied by Prius. Fantastic stop to keep it at a 5-2 score. Big stand for the Seahawks. The Lynchburg still knocking on the door. Chance to push their lead to the largest mark today at 4. Give and go between Riley Schmidt as well as Wolf. Now it's Mitchell. Ready to score today, his 6th on the year. Schmidt has a shot deflected. Ricochets back out to Lewis. Closest defender, Mason Hoffman. Kenny. Give him a hat trick in the first quarter. Ryan Kenny goes low right corner, gets the best of Prius. Lead reaches 4, 17th goal of the year for Ryan Kenny.
Goal number 21, Ryan Kenny.
Finds a soft spot in the zone. And that much velocity coming at Kyle Prius. Tough to come up with a stop there. Lynchburg looking really clean on the offensive side to start today's contest. Face-off win for Jowden. Picks up the ground ball. As Brock Daniel to get it across. Now it's Jude Brown, first time calling Brown's name in a long time. That speaks to how little we've seen St. Mary's on the offensive third after the first maybe 2 to 3 minutes of this game getting underway. Cal Wilcox. Picked up by Robinson. Brown stands behind the net. That's where the pass is going. Dumzingo there. Long pole mid. Brown forced to backpedal towards the near sideline. Shot wide. Letting it fly was Hayden Doyle. He had the first goal today for the Seahawks. 2 minutes in counting in quarter number 1. St. Mary's works it around the clock. Noah Kellner, back to Brown. Over to McGrain. Lynchburg sideline getting fired up. The momentum certainly on the side of the Hornets. St. Mary's gets it back, however. We're going to stall that Lynchburg tidal wave of momentum. Kellner, back to Brown. A little more than a minute on the shot clock. St. Mary's been scoreless since the 12:49 mark here in the first quarter. Brown again, Zingo. Skips it over to Doyle, shot wide left. Gave a ton of credit to the Lynchburg defense. After the first 2 to 3 minutes of play, there has been no room given up in the face of Patrick Moore. A lot of shots from way downtown, and here, nice stop created by the Hornets. Darminio picks up the ground ball. Vertigas controls, now sends it over to Moore. Talking more about what we've seen from the Lynchburg defense so far today is Darminio with a couple of nice moves. Loses control. Brust picks it up. Now with Neves. We'll backpedal on Lynchburg. We'll have the final possession of the first quarter. 30 seconds to work with. As this is going to be the final possession of the first quarter. I'll finish that point when we come back for quarter number 2, talking about the difference in where the shots have come from and how clean of looks they've been for the two sides. And that tells the story of the scoreboard we've seen as Lynchburg out in front 6-2. Kenny finds Lewis. Lewis wants Wolf. Couldn't handle the pass. Picked up instead by Ethan Little for St. Mary's. 1 second to work with Coleman. Will control as the final seconds tick away from the opening quarter of action between Lynchburg and St. Mary's of Maryland. First 15 minutes goes the way of the Hornets out in front 6-2. We'll step aside and come back with quarter number 2 between Lynchburg and St. Mary's of Maryland, coming to you on LHSN.
Please.
living the dream. USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
Welcome back to Schellenberger Field. Time for quarter number 2 between St. Mary's Seahawks and the Lynchburg Hornets. Lynchburg, the number 7 team in the country, and out in front by 4-6-2. If you're watching this game on LHSN, it's TJ Wingert here with you to take you through all the action. Another face-off between Kraus and Jowden. This is primarily the matchup towards the latter half of the first quarter. Face-off 1. Jowden picks up the ground ball, and after a hot start offensively for St. Mary's, the Seahawks certainly went quiet, scoreless over the final 12:49 in the opening quarter. We're going to get back in the scoring column and recapture some of the momentum Lynchburg had throughout the middle and end of the opening quarter. Jude Brown assisted the first goal today for St. Mary's, yet to find the back of the net himself. Gets away from Zingo. Brown has his first goal on the afternoon. Jude had just passed it away, lost Zingo in the traffic, and has goal number 20 on the season.
Scoring the St. Mary's goal, number 56.
See, Zingo just lost him, and from that close, it's going to be tough to stop a player of Brown's caliber. It's now 6-3. A much-needed goal if you're a Seahawks fan. Jowden and Kraus once more at midfield. Face-off won by Lynchburg. Ground ball picked up by Darminio. Talking with Coach Kudelka earlier this week, getting more of his thoughts from the loss at Salisbury, and he said the Seawolves just forced Lynchburg to play tentatively. They weren't playing at their speed. And I think a little more than 16 minutes into this one, tentative, the last word you'd use to describe Lynchburg and how they've looked on the offensive side so far today. It's been fast and it has been controlled at the same time. All to say, this is as good as Lynchburg has looked this year on the offensive side, and that includes against wins against Ferrum and Greensboro. Kenny, shot denied. Rolls back behind the net. Prius trying to gather the ground ball. Whistle's blown. Possession's going to stay with Lynchburg. So during the week, Lynchburg, some tweaks to what they want to do on the offensive side so they can continue to play their speed. That was the thing that Coach Kudelka continued to emphasize. We want to play at our speed. I think you've seen that so far today, and that leads me to the point that I didn't quite get to finish in the first quarter. Where Lynchburg has had their shots come from, a lot of open space. They've been getting the close quarters of Curl Prius. Meanwhile, on the other side, for about 12 minutes onward in the first quarter to where we are now until that goal from Brown. Shots from St. Mary's have had to come from a further distance. They have not been able to create the same types of looks with open space and right in the face of the keeper. Voigt finds Kenny. Shot short, hops, and misses wide right. So after a score to open up the second, good stop for the Seahawks. St. Mary's gets back to work on the offensive side. And talking about where the shots have come from, St. Mary's. We highlighted the starting defenders for Lynchburg at the top of the broadcast, and a ton of credit has to go to the likes of Henry Marinden, Darminio, Marshall Rodegas, Dom Zingo. Overall, they have done a stellar job trying to stalwart what's been a high-octane St. Mary's offense to start this season. Only one game so far this year where St. Mary's has scored less than 15. That was at a 9-8 win at Elizabethtown. Wilcox marked up by Marinden. Back to Brown. In front of Zingo, 30 seconds left in the shot clock. Pass goes to Kellner. He's forced to backpedal. Now lets it fly. Sails it over the top post. Brown to start up. Elects not to take the screen from Jack Broccato, excuse me. Shot between the wickets of Moore. Stellar finish from Kellner. 2-0 run to start quarter number 2, and the Seahawks cut the deficit in half. It's now a 6-4 game.
Scoring the St. Mary's goal, number 43, Noah Kellner.
Kellner steps up, occupies the open space, and with his momentum carrying him forward, shot with plenty of mustard, gets past Moore. Less than 12 to go till we reach halftime. Nice bounce back for Coach Childs and his Seahawks squad. Ball start. It's R.J. Barnes sending it over to Riley Mitchell. So Lynchburg looking for win number 8 in a row against St. Mary's. Meanwhile, the Seahawks looking to take down Lynchburg for the first time since 1998. Shot denied. It was Wolf sending it towards Prius. Riley Mitchell unable to pick up the ground ball. Instead, it's Bryce Howard getting it across midfield for St. Mary's. Howard ahead for Hatfield. Takes some contact from Darminio. Sends it over to Johnny McGrain. And a chance now for St. Mary's to make it a 1-goal difference. Pass intended for Brown. Couldn't handle the feed. Darminio picks it up, gives way to Patrick Moore. Snow flurries slowing down just a little bit here in Lynchburg, Virginia. It's been on again, off again so far throughout this contest. Wolf makes it through traffic. Sends it over to Riley Schmidt. Schmidt patrols to his right. Sends it back to Mitchell. Mitchell defended by Brock Daniel, but not enough. Mitchell gets the first score of the second quarter for Lynchburg. Lead grows back to 3. Second of the day for Riley Mitchell. Goal number 7 of the season.
Scoring the Lynchburg goal, number 1, Riley Mitchell.
He put Daniel on ice for just a moment. Created enough space as he was tracking right. And Prius unable to make the stop. Just over 10 minutes to go till we reach halftime. Another face-off win. Samuel Jowden. Start today's game was a lot of Mitch Boudreau against Krause. Now we're seeing a lot more of Jowden and Krause, and Jowden's had a lot of success. Let's take it over in that face-off spot so far this afternoon. Wilcox looking for space against Nestor, who pokes it away. Picked back up. Shot wide right. Aiden Doyle taking the rip. McCrane marked up by Josiah Martin. Gets parallel to the posts. Now looking for a cutter. Wanted Brown. Pass off the mark. Doyle collects. Takes the rip. Misses high and wide. Just over 20 seconds on the shot clock for St. Mary's to work with. Brown trying to back down Zingo. Goes up and over his shoulder and sneaks it past Moore. Some things you just can't defend, and Jude Brown with a shot like that, case in point. 21st goal of the year for Jude Brown. Let's take another look.
6, Jude Brown.
And it looks like Brown just patrolling. In the blink of an eye, decides, I'll take the shot. While standing on the far side, able to sneak it into the top left corner. Ridiculous accuracy. But face-off one in response by Lynchburg, ground ball. Picked up by Barnes. And gets it ahead to Lewis. Lynchburg, chance to respond. A little less than 9 minutes to go till we reach halftime. Back and forth these two sides have gone. Kirkland just checked in. He controls the center of the turf. Swings it over to Cooling. Freshman from Apex, North Carolina. Defended by Hatfield. Now with Voigt. Working against Coleman. Voigt lets it fly. And sneaks it through next to the near side post. Lynchburg with a response. Back ahead by 3. First goal today for Grant Voigt. And just like the goal we saw a moment ago, not a whole lot of space for Voigt to work with, but we wanted to put the shot and able to bury it home. Third score of the season for the sophomore from Phoenix, Maryland. Rouse and Jowden once more. Kraus gets it away to Lewis, and now we'll head to the sideline. It's a 4-goal difference at the end of the first quarter, just in case you missed it. Lynchburg with a chance to get right back to that mark now. Nice couple of moves for Wolf. Creates an opening, tries to go downstairs through Prius. But a nice stop made by the senior. Save percentage coming in today's game for Prius north of 60%. Certainly a mark you can win a lot of games with. So far today, he's got 5 saves. Patrick Moore on the other side. No saves so far, 5 goals allowed. Daniel gets the pass off through contact. Gets it over to Kellner. Trying to swing it over the middle of the turf. Mercado, the intended target. Off the mark. Instead, McGrain there to back up the play. Sends it over to Brown. Seen a lot of Brown versus Dom Zingo. Now it's Henry Marinden. Working with the long stick. Brown will take screen right. 20 seconds left in the shot clock. Brown feeds Mercado. Backpedals. You give it back to Jude Brown. Got to think he's going to be the man to take the shot here. Got to work quickly. Shot clock at 6. Spin move. No opening. Ball loose. Pops up into Lynchburg sky, and Patrick Moore, as he gathers, the shot clock shows zeros. But they're going to give possession back to St. Mary's. 6:15 to go until we reach halftime. Seahawks, the fresh 60 to work with. Chance to eat into the 3-goal deficit. Seahawks working around the clock. Over the shoulder of Moore, Aiden Doyle gets his second goal today. Exactly 6 minutes left to go in quarter number 2. It's now an 8-6 contest. Goal number 11 for Aiden Doyle. And off of the second chance, St. Mary's takes advantage of it. And important moment as the Seahawks looking to keep it close with Lynchburg. So now 11 goals over the last 3+ games of action for Aiden Doyle. His offensive production on top of what you get with Jude Brown creates a scary offensive front. The Seahawks. Vertigast tripped up, lost control. St. Mary's, chance to make it a 1-goal difference. Hatfield carries forward. Now gives way to McGrain. McGrain with 5 goals so far this season, 4 in the last 3. Couldn't handle the pass cleanly. Able to get it back. Picked up by Nestor. McGrain will wrap it around. Now back behind the net. Over to Jude Brown. After St. Mary's went cold, the latter half of the first quarter, seen a whole lot of Jude Brown. Ball in his hands. Doyle, nifty shot. First save of the day for Patrick Moore. Keeps it at a 2-goal difference, and Coach Kudelka waving forward, wants Moore to carry it ahead, wants to see the offense get into motion quick. Moore, missed wide left. Rust, Kenny, now with Lewis. The tempo slows down a bit. A.J. Neves swings it over to the far side. This is Dylan Wolf, our Lynchburg player to watch. Back to Neves. Now Kenny. Awkward shot. Just looks like he didn't get to finish and follow through with the motion. Hornets keep possession. It's Wolf sizing up Daniel. Lewis for Kenny, his 4th on the day. Ryan Kenny doing a lot of the heavy lifting on the offensive side for Lynchburg and been the beneficiary of a lot of great passing sequences. Nice find from Lewis, and again, Kenny occupying the open space against the zone.
Assist to number 7, Kyle Lewis.
And that is going to be a tough stop for Crow Prius to make against anybody, let alone a player to the caliber of Kenny. Krause versus Jowden once more. Ground ball picked up by Barnes. Lynchburg wastes no time. Shot. Missed wide right by Kenny. Hornets stay at it. Kirkland just checked in. He gets the pass. Coming from Voigt. Rusty Kirkland now with Lewis. In front of Lewis is Mason Hoffman. Working with the long stick. Lewis back to Kennedy. Ryan Kenny is slippery today, folks. How about his 5th already? Less than 3 to go, I beg your pardon, in the first half.
Scoring the Lynchburg goal, number 21, Ryan Kenny.
And a lot of times today we've seen Kenny find the open space here. A beautiful deke. Even got our camera op to fall for it. And then sends it home through the opening. 10-6, Lynchburg has the lead back up to 4. Contact, players down on the turf. Daniel the last to get up. Possession is going to be awarded to St. Mary's. Take another look at that last play. Coming off the face-off. It's the first time we've seen Boudreau at midfield for the Seahawks since about midway through the first quarter. McCrane lost it. Picked up by Schuster. Crosses from left to right. Even numbers forward. Kenny back to Martin. He thought about it. Flings the pass tall. Empty possession for Lynchburg. Coach Kudelka not happy. A chance for the Hornets to really ride the momentum and push their lead to the largest mark today at 5. Instead, much needed stop for St. Mary's. And Hatfield gets it away to Kellner. Scored earlier today. St. Mary's settling in on the offensive side. Martin. Make that Merindon. Trying to slow down Brown. Pass. Not controlled by Bricado. Wilcox. Sends it over to McGrain. It's Peter Robinson defending. Kellner. Can't find any space. Had a cutter. McCrane couldn't handle the pass. Sent back out to Wilcox, who takes the shot. Has it deflected off Lynchburg defender's body. In and out of the stick of Zingo. Seahawks get it back. Brown with the ground ball. Fakes the pass. Takes the shot. Deflected away by Moore. Moore able to get it away to Peter Robinson. No numbers advantage for the Hornets, so he'll get set in the attacking third. From Mitchell to Lewis. Now it's Kenny Finning Wolf. More man-to-man on this possession for St. Mary's. We've seen the Seahawks alternate between both man and zone. Mitchell draws the attention of his second defender, Hatfield. Picks him up. Now it's Lewis. Working against Connolly. Takes the shot, leaves it wide left. And it's going to be a timeout called by Coach Kudelka with 12.5 seconds to go in the first half. And this is a spot here where Coach K can try to drop something and steal one more before we head to the break. An exciting first half. We'll update you on some of the stats. We'll show you these again once we get to halftime, but currently a 28-13 advantage in the shots category for Lynchburg. And a lot of times that stat will tell the story of who controlled possession throughout a given period of time. And throughout the first half, we've seen a lot more of Lynchburg operating the attacking third, while we've seen moments and runs where St. Mary's had success and won a number of faceoffs. But if you were to just tally up looks and time controlled in the attacking third, that has certainly been an edge for the number 7 Hornets, and that translates to the shots on goal category, 16-9 edge for Lynchburg in that department. Start to see Patrick Moore pick up the saves total. He's now got 3 on the day against 13 shots faced. On the other side, Cole Prius has seen 28 shots in his direction already. 10 goals allowed, 6 saves so far for the senior keeper. Prius is looking for one more stop. Players back out onto the field. Lynchburg looking to obtain their largest lead of the day at 5. Twelve and a half seconds to go in the first half. Lewis on the far side with Hoffman in front of him for St. Mary's. Lewis tracks right. Gets a screen from Mitchell. Now will take the shot. Finds home. Lewis does it all by his lonesome. 9th score of the year for Lewis. Lynchburg up by 5. Take another look. Pair of screens. The first from Schmidt. Then Mitchell causes just enough confusion and opens up the opportunity for Lewis with space. And he will take care of the rest 9 times out of 10. He'll tell you 10 times out of 10. Senior from Suwanee, Georgia. Makes it a 5-goal game. He'll take another shot. Kraus fed him, but final seconds of the first half tick away. Lynchburg in the driver's seat, up 11-6 through 30 minutes of action. We'll step aside and come back and show you some of the stats from the first half of play. You're watching Lynchburg and St. Mary's on LHSN.
St. Mary's.
Never think that your donation is in vain, because you're helping out hundreds of students that are just like me, who need a shot and who are getting one. Without donations, without you individuals that are helping to donate to the university and the Lynchburg Fund, there would be no student body president, Davion Washington. There'd probably be I'm stuck at home, Davion Washington. Not only is your donation building leaders, but it's building leaders like myself and others that will hopefully want to pay it forward one day and you do the same thing. I know for a fact that, when I have it, because I will, I want to give back to this university that provided me a home for 4 years.
If you like being close with your professors, if you like being in small classes that help with one-on-one, if you like being in positive communities that help you train your weak points and strengthen your strong points, then the University of Lynchburg is a great place to go. You can never go wrong with the amount of help that they offer, the amount of self-sacrifice that other people will put in for you. It has a beautiful campus, it has dedicated teachers, it has nice students, it has fun activities, and it has plenty of things to do.
I was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready for the real world when you graduate.
It's halftime at a chilly Lynchburg, Virginia. You're watching the Hornets, the number 7 team in the country, play host to the St. Mary's Seahawks, looking to rise to 6-0 to start their season. Thank you for watching this contest on LHSN. We appreciate you giving some of your time on a Saturday afternoon. We're going to run you through some of the stats from the first 30 minutes of play between these two sides, and the numbers will back up what you see in the scoring column. Lynchburg certainly in the driver's seat and been the more dominant team through 30 minutes of play, leading the way in a number of categories. Pretty close in the clears department, but Lynchburg's been able to avoid the turnovers that St. Mary's been sort of plagued with. I don't want to say plagued, that can be a little extreme, but St. Mary's has battled and had a harder time maintaining possession, especially after getting some stops on the defensive side. Also the face-off wins, led to a lot more offensive possessions, a lot more time in the attacking third so far for Lynchburg, and that is indicative through the shots and shots on goal department. Also want to take this opportunity to catch you up on some of the scores from around ODAC men's lacrosse, games that haven't gotten underway, including Hampton City and Washington Elite. I know a lot of people will be watching that one. That will get underway at 4:30. Also, Guilford taking on Roanoke at 2 o'clock. But the games that are being played on top of Lynchburg and St. Mary's, which you're watching now, Randolph making up 18-0 over Randolph at halftime. And getting underway in the third quarter now, Shenandoah leads 10-0 against Ferrum. And this is a Shenandoah team coming off a loss their last time out against St. Mary's, who we're seeing today. So there's an update around the Old Dominion Athletic Conference and the men's lacrosse landscape. We've given you some of the stats. Now we're going to take a pause and come back, show you some of the highlights from the first half of play between these two squads. You're watching St. Mary's and Lynchburg on LHSN.
Today's a rough day. Justin and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
How you feeling?
Living the dream.
Just canoeing. That's the Mexican side behind me. The U.S. is that way.
So far, we're all still alive.
I really want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Woo! We did it! Kind of.
The biggest thing that I've taken from Westover is probably my interactions with faculty. I started working with Dr. Fryer. He's always available for help, and he makes sure that I get to do the experiments and not just be there while he does them. I didn't want to limit myself when I came here to just taking the prereqs for med school. I wanted to get a full, well-rounded education, and I definitely found that in the Westover program. It's given me the opportunity to keep playing soccer at a competitive level, but also it's given me the ability to be a student and to pursue other activities such as EMS. "100% do Westover because it's not something they're going to regret, and it's going to be a lot of work, but so is everything else. It's just going to help build their education that they've already had and make them a better person for it."
11-6 your scores. We're getting set for the second half between St. Mary's and Lynchburg. Hornets in the driver's seat with a chance to avenge their loss last Saturday against Salisbury. We're going to show you some of the highlights from the first half. Appreciate everybody giving us some time on your Saturday afternoon. TJ Wingert here with you. Lynchburg with a chance to improve to 4-1. As I mentioned, avenge the loss against Salisbury last week. St. Mary's with a chance to continue their hot start to the season and elevate to 6-0. Catch you up to date on all the individual numbers. We talked about the team stats last segment. Ryan Kenny on 12 shots leads away in Lynchburg scoring column with 5 goals so far. Pair of goals for Riley Mitchell as well as Kyle Lewis. Lewis also with 3 assists so far today. And it's 1 goal, 1 assist for Jake Rust and a goal for Grant Voigt on 2 shots. Talk about the assist numbers. AJ Neves has 1 helper, as does Dylan Wolf. And on the other side, for St. Mary's, 2 players with 2 goals. It's Jude Brown and Aiden Doyle. Then a goal each for Cal Wilcox and Noah Kellner. Kellner also has a dime, as does Jack Mercado. Face-off win for Lynchburg to start the second half. Kraus absorbs the contact, and they'll start to slow down play. And the St. Mary's, as Daniel sends it over to Johnny McGreen. 6 games played this season. Now back to Kellner. Talks about him with a goal and assist so far today. It was good for his 7th goal, 2nd assist on the season. Loose ball rolls across the near sideline. Lynchburg get their first look on the offensive side in the second half. But first, slight pause. Referees want to make sure that they award possession to the right squad, and it's going to stay with Lynchburg as Marinden flings it over to Moore. 30 shots in the first half for Lynchburg. If you're a Hornets fan, you'd love to see more of that in the second set of 30. Shot wide right from Lewis. Possession back with the Seahawks. Starts with Connolly. Sophomore, made his 6th start of the season today. St. Mary's playing their first year in the United East Conference. Just had a pair of players sweep the regular season or the weekly regular season awards, with Jude Brown taking Offensive Player of the Week and Ethan Little taking Defensive Player of the Week. Both were named to the USILA Team of the Week as well. The 5-0 start this season, the best mark that they've had under Coach Jason Child's tenure in his 7th year at the helm. Snuck up underneath the top post. Noah Kellner does it again. His 8th of the season, 2nd on the day. And St. Mary's has been prone to hot starts. They did so in the first and the second quarter, and Kellner opens up the scoring in the second half. And that shot coming from far out against Moore, but plenty of velo to sneak it past the keeper. It's Krause versus Jowden at midfield. Face-off one. It looked like it was going to be won by Lynchburg, and ultimately it will be. Ground ball picked up then by Darminio. And Hornets will have a chance to respond. 5-goal lead at halftime was the largest of the day for Lynchburg. Neves with assists today, his 2nd of the season. Controls and swings it over to Riley Mitchell. Wolf over to Kenny. Now back behind the net with Neves once more. Mitchell gets it back to Kenny. Shot misses tall. Lynchburg still has 44 seconds to work with. Mitchell to Neves, who takes the shot. Short hops the post, has it skip up and over the shoulder of Prius, and it finds home. 12-7 Lynchburg out in front. First goal of the season for A.J. Neves. Grad student from Centerville, Virginia. Gets creative. First time we've seen one of these short hop shots find the back of the net. Two teams trade scores to open up the third. Just over 2 minutes played so far in the second half. False start. Called against St. Mary's. Lynchburg will have Cole Nestor start up the possession and finds Kyle Lewis. Now 15 face-off wins for Lynchburg to 7 for St. Mary's. And that tells the story. Time of possession and That leads to the Hornets with a huge edge in the shots department and, of course, where it matters most, on the scoreboard in the scoring column. Cooling. Forced to send it left to Lewis. Gets it back. Now over to Kenny. Robert Kirkland, seen a lot more of him today than what we saw against Cabrini. Dish from Voigt goes back to Kirkland. A little more than 30 seconds for Lynchburg on the shot clock. Rust for Kenny. Steps into it. Misses wide right. Cooling sizes up. Hatfield forced to backpedal. Now Rust tries to emulate the shot from Neves. Shot off the mark. Down to 15 seconds. Kirkland to Cooling. Shot denied by Prius. The keeper picks up the ground ball. Nice stop for St. Mary's, and a shot comes quickly from Ethan Little. Save made by Patrick Moore. And Voigt gets it across midfield, carries into the attacking third. Kicks over to Lewis. Now, just in front of Prius, Jake Rust finds home. Lynchburg with their largest advantage of the day at 6. Second goal for Rust this afternoon. Goal number 8 of the year. Again, Lynchburg's been able to create a lot of opportunities right in the face of Prius. Rust cuts late, catches the pass, shoots immediately. And it's now 13-7, a little more than 11 minutes to go in the third. Kraus against Jowden. Kraus wins and gets the ground ball. Moore flings it towards nets and in and out of the stick of Cole Harden, and Patrick Moore makes it 14-7.
Scoring the Lynchburg goal, number 41, Patrick Moore.
Patrick Moore with his first goal on the season. Take another look. We've seen a whole lot of this today. Patrick Moore stepping up, sending it towards net, forcing a player for St. Mary's to step up and standing in front of posts, and this time Harden couldn't handle the shot, and it seeps through. Lynchburg doubles up. St. Mary's ahead 14-7. Ground ball picked up by Zingo. Now it's gathered by Marinden. Lots of contact. Coach Kadelkin, the Lynchburg bench. Looking for a penalty. Oh, against the Seahawks. Won't get one. McGrady not in a rush. Now it's Wilcox. Wilcox with a lot of cool connections to St. Mary's. Mom and dad both graduated from St. Mary's class of 1991. Dad played basketball and lacrosse. Mom played on the club field hockey team. And one more note, Wilcox's sister playing on the field hockey squad as well for the Seahawks. Turnover created. Then picked up by Rodegast. Kenny for Schuster. Had it jarred away. And Kenny forced to race back towards midfield. Gets it out to Lewis. Assistant coach for St. Mary's, Tommy Rinder, the team's defensive coordinator, needs a stop here. Team trailing by 7. St. Mary's creates the turnover. It's a welcome start. Pass intended for Jake Levy. It's broken up. Ball still live. Mercado. Gets the ground ball. Closest defender in front of him, Dom Zingo. Levy, 5th game played this year, has 3 goals in the season. Over to Doyle. Now with Walker Kriesman. Austin Bournes. Bourne sends it back. Kriesman picked up by 2 defenders. Turnover created by Rodegast. Picked up by Martin. Martin sends it to Lewis. Give and go. Martin takes the shot. Misses over the top post. Nice sequence for Lynchburg. Had a chance to turn defense into offense. Nothing doing, and players like Martin will now check out, and that allows Riley Mitchell to check back in. And Martin swings it over to Wolf. Give and go between the two. Just to Schmidt. Lewis. Wanted to get it to Wolf. Couldn't handle it. Little picks it up. Reigning United East Defensive Player of the Week. Finds Marcus Coleman, freshman from Annapolis, Maryland. Finds help in the form of Johnny McRain. Nice move. Gets past Palma. Shot off the left post. Mercado nearly had goal number 7 of the season. Jude Brown, first time calling out Brown's name here in the 3rd quarter. And Lynchburg did a fantastic job in the middle and latter stages of the 1st quarter, taking away Jude Brown entirely. And that's what we've seen nearly going to the 3rd. McGraney working against Robinson. Spins back to his right. Mercado couldn't handle the pass. Now it's Doyle against Rodegast, as well as Zingo. Now it's Palma trying to slow down Kellner. 2 goals so far today for Kellner. Lost his footing, sends it back to McCrane. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Laundry into the Lynchburg sky. Pass goes all the way back out to Cal Wilcox. Clock down to 3. No shot put up by St. Mary's. Hold is the call. That means possession is going to stay with the Seahawks. Mercado picks it up on the far side. You see him talking to the official who threw the flag. Talked about Coach Tommy Rinder, defensive coordinator for St. Mary's, working with the defense for Lynchburg. It's obviously former keeper himself, Coach Stephen Kadelka, with the assistance of Seamus McDonald, USILA honorable mention as an All-American, former long stick midi for the Hornets. Brown fakes the pass. Nice job working through traffic. Kellner gets the shot off. It's denied by Moore. Picking up the loose ball. A long stick mid for Lynchburg. Jeremy Johnson then hits the turf. Johnson gets it back, and Patrick Moore will begin the Lynchburg offensive possession. I think Coach Kadelka and Coach McDonald are going to be really happy with what Lynchburg's been able to do on the defensive side. Outside of a minute and a half stretch in the early going to the 1st quarter and small 2-0 run to start the 2nd, Lynchburg's been smothering the defensive half of the field. St. Mary's regains possession, though. Chance to eat into the 7-goal deficit. Both teams picked up a goal early on here in the 3rd, been scoreless since. Last team to find the back of the net was Lynchburg with 10:42 to go. Got more than 5 minutes scoreless since. Whistle's blown Looked like the officials wanted or thought Coach Kudelka wanted a timeout. Calling an inadvertent whistle. 48 seconds on the shot clock. 5:02 to play in the third. Play will now resume. It's Marinden against Jude Brown. Screen set by Wilcox. Brown now into motion. Spin move. Bricado forced to backtrack. McGraney against Martin. Takes some contact as well from Darminio. Ball jarred loose. Cole Nestor almost picked up the ground ball. Shoved to the turf, and instead it's Darminio with a head of steam forward after getting the ground ball, taking the shot as it skipped open up and over the top post. Love getting to see those defenders try to get in the mix on the offensive side. It's tough to take a shot with that long pole, and this one got away from Darminio a bit. Lynchburg keeps possession. Mitchell finding Wolf, who just checked in. Lewis for Rust. Back to Lewis. Neves. Shot fake. Gives to Wolf. Well defended by Ethan Little. Kenny. Top left 90. Ryan Kenny does it again. Goal number 20 on the season for the senior. And how about his 6th already this afternoon? Just under 4 minutes to go in the third. Late in the shot clock, Lynchburg has looked in Ryan Kenny's direction, and he has been got to get the job done. He's got 6 of Lynchburg's 15 goals today. It was good with math. That's 40%. And that's not to overlook the contributions from Riley Mitchell, Kyle Lewis, Jake Rust, J.J. Neves, Grant Voigt, but it's been the Ryan Kenny show so far today. Krause against Boudreau. Ball still rolling towards the far sideline. Referees will give Lynchburg possession. That brings Voigt, Kirkland, and Cooling back on for the Hornets. Just going quarter by quarter. Lynchburg took the first 6-2, took quarter number 2 as well, 5-4, and then so far in the third it's been 4-1 Hornets over the Seahawks. That's amounted to the 15-7 mark we are at now. Nice save for Prius. Shot came from Voigt. Make that Kenny. Hoffman sent it back to Prius. Nice move. McRaney has some space. Now retreats back towards midfield and finds Brock Daniel. Senior from Owings, Maryland. Wilcox gets it back to McRaney. Defended by Peter Robinson, another one of those unsung heroes. You don't hear defenders get a whole lot of love. Talk to soccer coaches, they describe the attacking mids and strikers as guys who get the nice cars. Kind of get the idea of what they're painting there. A lot of times those defenders get overlooked. Trying to show some love to Peter Robinson. He's done a stellar job today, as has Darminio and Rinden and Erdegas, Singo. And of course, you have to talk about the keeper, Patrick Moore. All of it comes together, and it's led St. Mary's to just 7 scores so far today. Again, they've had 15 or more in 4 of their 5 games played. Moore used the pass too tall for Kenny. here in the third, we're starting to see St. Mary's able to maintain possession. A lot of it's forcing Moore to step up and try to complete those long distance passes. Hornets get back to work though on the offensive side. Give and go from Neves to Lewis, now with Rust. Kicked over one more time. This is Ian McCartney. I think that Ian McCarthy, I beg your pardon. McCarthy for Lewis. Sent to Schmidt, takes the shot, and finds Prius waiting for it. Hatfield against McCarthy. Gets the pass away to Doyle, who finds Brown. Kellner brings it back towards the center of the turf. Josiah Martin piggybacks, tries to create the turnover. Final 2 seconds of the third. Take away, and the buzzer indicates we've made it through 45 worth of play against the between the Hornets and the Seahawks. Lynchburg out ahead by 8. We'll step aside and come back with the final stanza between these two squads coming to you on LHSN.
Lynchburg really stood out for me just because of the way it treated its students. They really do make an effort here. And I've learned that over my 4 years is that they actually do try to listen to what the student body wants, and they try to act on that. They don't really just give you a piece of paper here to then go off and do your own thing. They actually prepare you to like work with different populations, which is what the world is all about. It's just working with people that are different than you. They genuinely care that everyone has the ability to go off into the world and make a difference with whatever they like. For me, that's just being basically in a room with someone helping them achieve their first goal of, I don't know, doing a pull-up. I actually do believe they want you to do the best you can to change someone's life for the better. You can be anyone here, which I think is really cool. But regardless of who you are here, they will make sure you don't fall through the cracks, which is awesome. I have realized that I've never felt lost here. I will not regret ever coming here, that's for sure. So I'm very glad that I came here. Yeah, it's actually pretty awesome.
Living the dream.
USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
(15-7) your score. Penalty flag down on the turf. Fourth quarter quickly getting underway. Hornets ahead by 8. In the driver's seat and have the chance to bounce back after the loss last week against Salisbury. Meanwhile, St. Mary's has some work to do, trying to improve to 6-0 and gather their first win against Lynchburg since 1998. It'll be Seahawks possession to open up the final quarter of play. Update you on some of the stats to this point in the contest as St. Mary's works it around the clock. 43-20 advantage for Lynchburg in the shots department. That's turned into 24 shots on goal for the Hornets to just 11 for the Seahawks. Faceoffs won 18 for Lynchburg to 7 for St. Mary's. And all that to say, possession in the favor of Lynchburg. Trying to get the pass away to Walker Kriesman. Pass was broken up. Sent out along the right end line. Brown finds Bracado cutting, and the senior has his 7th goal of the season. St. Mary's was the first to score in the second, the third, and now here in the fourth.
scoring the same.
Jack Mercado,
Jack Mercado, assistant number 56,
senior from Baltimore, Maryland, makes it 15-8. And from here onward, if St. Mary's is going to try to complete the comeback, every face-off is going to matter. Kraus against Boudreau. Boudreau wins it, gets the ground ball, flings it over to Brown. Now with Aiden Doyle. Doyle with a pair of goals so far this afternoon. Jude Brown behind the net in front of Martin. Back to Doyle, shot wide. And Lynchburg takes over possession. Marinden able to get it across midfield, then has it poked away by Hoffman. Hoffman gathers. Needed stop there for St. Mary's. Wilcox back onto the turf. Saw him score earlier today. From McGraney, the feed goes to Doyle. Parlays it to the near side. Kellner. Nowhere to go against Darren Palma. McGraney gives back to Jude Brown, who Coach Kudelka described as a dynamic scorer. Someone they have to account for possession by possession. And largely, we've seen that be the job of Dom Zingo and Henry Marinden. All things considered, given the type of production Jude Brown has put together this season, only giving up 2 goals and an assist to Brown. That is damage control, if you ask me. Shot from Wilcox, save for more. Martin picks up the ground ball. Picked up by Hoffman right at midfield. Wolf works right. Now sends it to Rust. Just in front of Prius. Sent away. Kenny takes the shot. Denied. Ball still live. Just in front of the posts. Rust gathers. Flings it back out towards Riley Mitchell, and Lynchburg in a spot now where we won't see them in too much of a rush on the offensive side, trying to use the game clock to their advantage. Shot buried home. Guess who? Ryan Kenny does it again. How about the 7th on the day for Ryan Kenny? Goal number 21 of the season. Safe to say Ryan Kenny has made a good case as the LHSN player of the game.
Number 21, Ryan Kenny. Assist to number 6,
and goes across the body of Curl Prius. No easy task. We'll see Tyler Cooney against Mitch Boudreau at midfield for the face-off. By the way, the assist on the play goes to A.J. Neves, his 2nd on the day, 3rd of the year. Face-off won by Lynchburg. Barnes. We're going to get past Boudreau. Gets the pass away. It's Marinden. Ahead for Voigt, who will now slow down the tempo. Looking at the upcoming schedule for both sides, Lynchburg does not get any easier ahead. Denison on Friday the 18th, followed by CNU the next day on the 19th. And then Lynchburg will welcome Tufts here to Schellenberger Field on March 22nd. 7 o'clock start time, and that game will come to you on LHSN. Hope to have you with us for heavyweight battle between 2 of the best teams in the country. Boyd sends it all the way back out. Cooling, Kenny. Now behind the net with Lewis. With a Rust. Kenny steps up, takes the shot. Short hopped in front of Prius, who's there to make the stand. The next 3 games to be played for St. Mary's will come on Wednesday the 16th against Randolph-Macon, then on the 19th against Washington, followed by the next Saturday, March 26th, playing host to Hilbert. That game set to get underway at noon. Shot buried home. Griffin Cooling, the freshman, getting into the scoring mix. Makes it 17-8, Lynchburg in the driver's seat. A little more than 10 minutes to play. Second goal of the year for Cooling, his first on the afternoon.
Scoring the Lynchburg goal, number 18, Griffin
Just
Cooling.
too much space to give Griffin Cooling. Good distance away from the net, but Lynchburg's done a fantastic job being able to find those openings against the Seahawks front. And they'll step into nice shooting spaces, and now ahead by 9. Darminio able to get the pass off. Nestor forward for Lewis. And once again, Lynchburg, after getting the attacking third, will set up in the offensive set. McCarthy over to Kenny, now gets it back. And we'll also have a keeper change for Lynchburg as Patrick Moore checks out. Tyler Hadley, junior from Summit, New Jersey, checks onto the turf for the first time today. Spin from Rust, shot wide left. Nifty move. Unable to beat Prius, however. Less than 20 seconds left on the shot clock. Lewis, spin move to split 2 defenders. Lofts it back out to Riley Schmidt. Kicked over. Neves takes the shot, denied by Prius. Russ there to get it back. And a fresh 60 put on the shot clock after it goes off the stick of Prius. And Coach Kudelka, as soon as he sees the shot clock reset, calling out to his team, no rush. Take advantage of the time we have. McCarthy forced to backpedal. Spins towards the center of the turf. Has Schmidt. Now with Lewis in front of Coleman. Brings it right. Now it's Jake Rust behind the net. Fake going left. Brings to the other side of the net. Through lots of traffic. And ultimately, it's Prius coming away with possession. St. Mary's can get back to work in the offensive end. But it doesn't take long before Lynchburg gets it back, and Kyle Lewis now into double digits on the year in the goal department. His 10th of the year, 3rd on the day. I think that play highlights what we've seen from St. Mary's today when they has not been pretty, have not been able to maintain possessions for very long. McCarthy, perfect pass ahead, and Lewis one-on-one with the keeper. What did I say earlier? He said he'll finish that 10 times out of 10. He's making a strong argument for that to be the truth. As the sun makes an appearance in Lynchburg, Virginia. First time today. Possession is awarded to the Seahawks. Bringing it all the way around. This is Jake Levy. Shot wide left. That comes from Kriesman. Brown. Picked up by Marinden. We've seen Jude Brown live behind the net for a majority of this contest. Tries to feed Aiden Doyle. Pass off the mark. Picked up by Kriesman. Talking more about Doyle, I had to work this into the broadcast. Aiden Doyle, with this grandfather, played in the majors outfielder for the Angels, the Senators, White Sox, as well as the Royals. With baseball now officially going to have a season, getting back to America's pastime, I had to throw that nugget out there. Hopefully everybody's excited for baseball season. Lynchburg baseball has a doubleheader tomorrow against Roanoke. Pass intended for Bricado. And coming out from between the posts, Hadley having to start up possession for Lynchburg. Less than 6.5 to go, and instead actually possession is going to stay with St. Mary's. I apologize for that confusion. Referees sort out the chaos. Only 15 seconds on the shot clock, so the Seahawks do have to work quick. Shot advantage for Lynchburg has grown to 49-22. Shot wide right from Bournes. St. Mary's will stick with it. Has a fresh 60 to work with. Doyle is back towards the net. Over to Brown, feeding Kriesman. Couldn't handle the pass. Gathered by Martin. Collides with Doyle. Maintains possession. Josiah Martin. Flashing the handles. Feeds Lewis, who finds none other than Ryan Kenny. 8th of the day for Kenny. And how about goal number 22 of the season? Beautiful sequence. Let's take another look from start to finish. Martin makes it through all the traffic, gets past midfield. Lewis, unselfish play, could have taken the shot like he did a couple minutes ago. Instead, feeds Kenny, who continues to stand out this afternoon. And again, I go back to echo the thoughts of Coach Kudelka during the week. When I got to talk to him, he said Salisbury forced Lynchburg to play tentative and slowed down their game speed, and overall just wasn't Hornets brand of lacrosse. Well, that has certainly been a very different story this afternoon. Lynchburg has looked more themselves than maybe they have all year long. This comes against a really, really quality opponent. St. Mary's 5-0 in the season. How about that save for Tyler Hadley? Lewis, shot high. Hornets will maintain possession. But now an 11-goal lead for Lynchburg. And you look at the Hornets in the spot to rise to 4-1 with 24-goal win against Ferrum, 24-goal win against Greensboro. Took down Cabrini. And now this afternoon, up by 12 as Ryan Kenny does it once more. Clock stops with exactly 5 minutes to play.
Scoring the Lynchburg goal, number 21, Ryan Kenny.
23rd of the season for Ryan Kenny looks like this. Another assist for Lewis. And at this point, we have so many goals we can show you for Kenny. You wouldn't tell which one is which. When did it come? Ryan Kenny put together an awesome showing this afternoon, and Lynchburg offensively has just certainly made an effort to get back on track compared to where they were last week against Salisbury. Got shut out in the second quarter against the Seagulls today. Much more if you're a Lynchburg fan, been around the program for a while. This is more custom what you're seeing. And you can see why they're ranked as the number 7 team in the country. Aiden Olmstead, first time calling out Olmstead today, now has Connor Moore. Lynchburg shifts in new players across the field, including a new keeper, Zach Phillips. Now the man between the posts. Behind the net, this is Ethan Coder. Moore out to Olmstead. Charlie Evans. He had a goal in the win against Greensboro. Eyes the cutter Olmstead instead, sends it back out. Shot clock's at 20. Shot save 14th of the day for Curl Prius. Well, 14 saves is a solid mark. Prius has seen 55 shots come in his direction. Daniel good at maintaining possession. Scrum for the loose ball, picked up by Jude Brown. Brown with a pair of scores today, looking for number 3. Just over 3 minutes left until the conclusion. Jeremy Johnson, the man picking him up. Shot goes off the post. Ultimately, the loose ball rolls across the near sideline. Both sides lay out. Lots of hustle. In and out of the stick of McRaney. Regathers. Doyle down to a knee. Defended by Palma. Shot low and wide left. And a timeout called by Coach Steve Kadelka. Chance to talk over the next 2.5 minutes worth of play. We're going to take a quick break. Come back with the final stanza. Lynchburg in the driver's seat, up by 12 over St. Mary's. Two and a half minutes, all that separate Lynchburg and their 4th win on the season and avenging their loss last week against the Seagulls. And it sets the stage for Pregames next weekend against Denison and CNU. That's coming on Friday and Saturday. Both games will get underway at 11 a.m. Meanwhile, St. Mary's score stands, trailing by 12. It would be the first loss of the year for St. Mary's. Still, this program out to the best start that they've had under 7th-year head coach Jason Childs during his tenure. Brown takes this shot. First attempt, no good. Gathering the miss. Johnny McRain finishes on the play. 6th goal of the year for McRain, his 5th over the last 4 games played. So McRain reaches the scoring column for the first time this afternoon. It makes it 20-9. And it comes against Andrew Miller, the new keeper for Lynchburg, the 4th player stand between the posts for the Hornets today. It was Patrick Morris, the starter, picked up 5 saves, save percentage at 38.5%. He was replaced by Tyler Hadley, picked up 1 save against 4 shots faced. Then Zach Phillips had a couple of shots come in his direction, none of which were on net. And then we just saw Andrew Miller checked in after the timeout. Miller sends it long. Now to play across the left end line. Logan Zimnock. Over to Olmsted. Now with Connor Moore, and returns the favor back to Aiden Olmsted. 3rd game played this year for the freshman from Cornelius, North Carolina. Behind the net, Zimnock continues to work it around the clock. Nice move for Moore. Fooled his defender. Pass was intended for Coder, but couldn't handle the feed, and St. Mary's picks up the loose ball. 70 seconds in counting left until this game goes final. And Lynchburg will elevate to 3-0 at home this season. The Hornets have been stellar when playing on Schellenberger Field, well, during the entire Coach Kudelka tenure, certainly, but especially if you look at this year, 3-0 start. Last year, 13-0 at home. Lynchburg was. Last loss comes against number 10 York in the 2020 season. That was ahead of COVID pandemic breaking out and shortening that spring season. Pass broken up by Miller. Fourth key of the day for Lynchburg generates the stop. Hornets moving to the attacking third. And Olmsted now backs it out. And shot clock with more time on it than the game clock. And the final 10 seconds to play will wind away off the clock. Lynchburg elevates to 4-1 on the season. Conference record stands pat at 1-0. Meanwhile, St. Mary's suffers their first loss on the season. Some final thoughts before we get you out of here. St. Mary's today, not their day, but comes against the number 7 team in the country. And today, certainly the biggest test that St. Mary's has had on their schedule today. Got a chance to see where they stack up against one of the best teams inside the country. And as a fan of lacrosse, got to see Jude Brown, Noah Kellner, Ethan Little, standout player on the defensive side. A lot of good players on this roster. Or seventh-year head coach Jason Childs says this program is reaching new heights under his tenure. Meanwhile, for Lynchburg, fourth win of the season, you bounce back after a tough loss at Salisbury, and today was much more of what the Hornets have accustomed to build their brand and their identity around. The offense was stellar. 20 put on the board, 9 coming from Ryan Kenny. The defense was smothering. Your old Jude Brown, preseason All-American honorable mention to just 2 goals and an assist today. I'd say players like Marinden Darminio, Rodriguez, Singo, just to name a few, did their job on that side of the turf. Next up for both sides, St. Mary's will take on Randolph-Macon on Wednesday the 16th. Lynchburg, as I noted during the broadcast, has a pair of games next weekend against Denison and CNU on the 18th and 19th, respectively. That's going to do it for us at Schellenberger Field. For my director, Sam Rice, and the rest of our fantastic LHSN broadcast crew, my name's TJ Winger, telling you one final time. Final score, 29. Lynchburg comes away as the victor. Till next time, we are signing off.